When I came out of undergrad, I was high off life. I was ambitious and confident, enthusiastic about going into this next phase of my life. I just knew I was gonna conquer. I was gonna come out the gate killing them, working in my company of choice, having a business, flourishing, stacking that coin, traveling the world. I was sure by the age of like 26, 27, I would be like in Japan and Mexico and Jamaica and South Africa and Ghana and Nigeria, Morocco, England. Like, I was ready to travel and be fabulous, just going. Like, you couldn't keep up with me as far as I was concerned after undergrad. That's how ambitious and confident I was about what I was gonna do. But life was like, sis, not this season. And I was shooketh. Welcome to A Word with Mobosinuola. Today we are talking about adult puberty. I remember meeting with one of my friends the December after I graduated. She was still in school, and so we both lived in New York, so we got together, and she was like, a lot of people, how's life after school? And I was like, girl, it's not all it's hyped up to be. Don't come home under any circumstance. I was struggling emotionally, spiritually, financially. It's this time, you come out of school, all the loan companies are like, deferment's over, we need to get paid. And you're like, ma'am, sir, I don't have a job. What are you gonna get paid with? And that interest is increasing, and you're like, oh, how did this happen to me? My whole entire life, my parents have told me, go to school, go to school, go to school, and then you can do whatever you want. And I totally 100% believe them. I was like, yeah, of course. All right, I'll go to school, I'll graduate, and I can do whatever I want. I can be successful at whatever I want. And that indoctrination where you're like, all right, these are the steps, and then you get to the place where success is supposed to happen, and when it doesn't happen, you're like, this is not what I signed up for. This whole adulting thing, no. This is not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fabulous. And that, for me, is where adult puberty set in. Adult puberty, I define it as the time period between your beginning 20s and your late 20s where you have to rediscover and relearn basically everything that you thought or dreamed up about life. Everything that you thought about for yourself, career-wise, business-wise. What you have to re-understand your relationships with your parents and your loved ones, the people who used to know you, and have to re-get to know the new person that you are. You have to re-understand even your faith. You have to re-understand just life as it is, because you enter into this new space where everyone in the world has all these different expectations of you, because now you're grown. And being grown, you have to have it together. You have to answer questions. Your decisions impact you more. You can't make as many mistakes as you used to make, because people like, you're grown, like you're supposed to learn by now, and you're like, I don't know anything, help, save me. That puberty and those growing pains, because that's what it's really about, growing pains from childhood to adulthood. And that's what I define adult puberty is. That transition does not happen in 6 months. It doesn't really even happen in 8 years. It is a constant battle, uphill, where you're just like, all right, I see the light. I just want to be able to touch it just a little bit. That was really my experience. I had to relearn myself. I had to redefine my ambitions. I had to realize what I lacked and what I did not have together and what I needed to get together. And ultimately, I pushed myself. But that also put me in the space where, of course, in social media, it is so easy to constantly scroll and look at your peers and people that you started with and see that you're all in different places and wonder, like, what am I doing wrong? Because I thought that a lot. That, like, these people are traveling and I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to pay my school loans back. Or this person is, flourishing and it's just not happening for me. Like, what do I need to do? And social media is a devil in that way, where you compare yourself to others and you're just like, I need to do better. I'm constantly lacking. That is one of the things that I would completely and totally discourage you from doing. Comparison is truly indeed the thief of joy, because the truth is, just like I'm putting up my best pictures and I'm putting up the best episodes of my life, other people are doing that. Other people didn't know I was struggling, and I couldn't process it in that way. A lot of people who are smiling, who look good, who feel good, who are putting up all these inspirational things, be struggling just like I did, and I couldn't see that in that moment because I was really just trying to catch up. I remember having a conversation with my mom. It was right before one of my birthdays, and I was preaching to her about how I was so behind on life. I was just preaching away. And she was like, girl, get it together. She checked me so quickly. She was like, I don't really know why you're doing this to yourself. And she began to list all the things that I had accomplished up until that point. And I was in such a low place that I could never see the glass as half full. I always saw it as empty, like what I needed to do more. No matter how hard I was working, no matter how hard I was hustling, no matter what I was accomplishing it, like nothing was ever enough. I still was battling that previous thought of like what success looked like at that age and at that time, and what I was supposed to do and where I was supposed to be. And that was really difficult for me to break. It's still difficult to break to this day. I will honestly say that I'm doing better, but the struggle continues. You cannot go through life working and hustling and continuously going on the road and never stop and say, you know what, I'm doing a damn thing, like I'm doing well. And that was what I kept on doing. Like, I don't have enough, it's not enough, this person has this. And I had to stop comparing myself. Like, it's so easy to sit down, to scroll through Facebook, to scroll through Instagram and Snapchat, and just be like, oh my God, look at all these fabulous lives that people are living. Like, it's so easy to do that. Do not. I did it enough for all of us. Like, do not do that. Just go through your puberty. You know, you're gonna cry sometimes. You're gonna pray a lot. I feel like during that time, I was praying so much, God was like, girl, I heard you. You just said this an hour ago. We just talked about this yesterday. It was so hard. Like, I remember people would ask me how I'm doing, and I would just cry. My parents were worried about what I was doing. I'm worried about what I'm doing, and their worry is stressing me even more than my own worry, and the combination was just not good. I'm here really to say, and I'm doing this episode because I want you to know that you're not alone. And I felt that way when I was going through adult puberty. Like, I felt alone. I felt like no one understands. How can I possibly explain this to anybody? Like, it's such an embarrassing time personally, where you feel all of these things and you feel really small, naive, and silly. You're like, why did I spend all this time dreaming all of this up? And what's the disconnect between what I wanted and where I am? Like, how did I miss the road? You didn't miss the road. It's just the journey looks different from what you expected, and that is okay. That's okay. It's okay to take a different path. It's okay that it's a little bit longer and it's not taking you as short of a time as you expected, because it's really not about your time. It's really about God's time. Like, all of this journey, all the things that you learn, all the things that you go through, how you're building yourself up, how you're growing in this time period is so important. And the tools that you learn, the coping skills, the strategies, the growth, you growing tougher skin, you having self-reflection and checking yourself some of the time, like, all of that becomes helpful for the place that you're going to. For my new graduates, for people who didn't go to school but are searching for something, for people who are, not even in their 20s but still experiencing a phase of adult puberty in the next level of newness, I encourage you that you're not alone. You're not crazy. You're not going to die. You still have life. There's still opportunity for you. There's still something for you to live for. And when you get to that space, I guarantee you, I promise you, that this journey will have been worth it. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, no one can be you. So So go forth and be your best self.